Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. Today I'm looking at a very interesting book which has come to us from Jordan Publishing. It's the imprint from Jordan, which is called Family Law. Now they are the expert organisation in terms of publishing books which assist us at the family bar, and they are of second to none. They are the most informative. They're what we need on the bench, and they're what we need as barristers and as solicitors to try to assist the warring parties in a case. This book is on the international dimension. It's a very important part of the overall books which Jordan's published. We've reviewed this publication in the past and found it to be an extremely helpful companion to the general books that they do produce, some of which are much easier, I hasten to read, than others. We'll have a look at the book in a minute. Let me just give you the title. It's the International Family Law Practice, now for the year 2015 to 16, and it's in its fourth edition and has been edited by David Hodson, OBE. And as I say, it comes from the imprint of Family Law. Now, my wife Elizabeth and I looked at the book and we gave it a title for our review which we thought would be of some assistance in terms of guidance, because the purpose of these reviews is to make sure people know what's on the market. We don't review books which are not really up to the standard, so the actual stars we give them are always going to be very high, because they are very high quality books which make up the substantive law, the areas that we deal with in 2015. No one can possibly know everything about what's in all the books, but what we do have in this country, I think, and I've seen what's available abroad, we have the best and the greatest range of publications and legal matters that you could hope for. It wasn't always like that, I hasten to add. We didn't have that sort of stuff about 40 years ago when I started, but I'm very glad now to say that we do have a wide range of various books available to assist us with our practice. This is one of them. Now let's have a look at the book first of all. It's a big book, grey cover, there it is, Family Law, nice little imprint there. So there's nothing on the back. Now what we have got, the book is actually a very big book, and it runs to just under 2,000 pages. There's the index, you can see at the back. This is important. It's nicely put together as a book. The pages are a little flimsy, I would hasten to add, but they're very strong and durable, we hope. And you've then got right at the back a whole range of things. Look at the detail there. Hague Convention, a huge amount of information there. Again, that's all right at the back, the Hague Convention. You can see a lot of footnoting material there and a lot of paragraph numbering. That's again dealing with the Hague Convention. We've got design. We've actually got figures, actual diagrams and so forth there, flow charts. About Article 15. These are the appendices that I'm going through at the moment, at the right at the back, a large number of them. Let's go forward a bit. And what we have here, we've got a lot of the legislation that's included, the family procedurals. All the usual suspects are actually here. So most of what you will be looking for, you should find in one place. As I say, the appendices themselves run through. Let me come through to the front of the book. I was asked to point out that they also have the online service, International Family Law, which again is very, very helpful for Jordans. There's the front of the book there. You see all the people who are involved as well. Some of whom I'm sure you will know. A huge amount of knowledge which has come out. The foreword is always worth reading. You get some idea of what the editor and the other people involved in this, where they're coming from and what they're trying to do. And in fact, Nigel Lowe, who will be known to many of you, Professor Lowe, has written the main foreword there. I used his book when I was a student, I remember all that many years ago. Then there's the main preface there, which has come from David Hodson, January 2015. So I'm recording this in the middle of 2015, and as I say, the fourth edition is a great new work for us. There is the contents pages there. Then I'm going to fast forward a bit because the contents are very detailed, and then after the various chapters you get up basically halfway through the book you then get into the appendices themselves. And then you've got with the appendices quite a lot of the legislation, and running all the way through there you can see the legislation itself. And then after that, that's right at the back, you've got the international aspects, and then a lot of case law, of course, and statutory instruments and statutes. Very useful abbreviations. I've mentioned it in quite a lot of books. This is a growing trend. We're getting a lot of abbreviations coming in. I think it's very helpful to see these, because we're not actually all going to know what some of these abbreviations really are. Now, this is the start of the book here, the overview, chapter 1. You can see straightforward, quite a lot of stuff. Why do I need to know about international family law? Well, the answer to that is because the boundaries have changed. We are a global community, and this is a lot of the work that I'm doing today is cross-border. So it is important to remember that you will get person A and person B getting married, and they will come from different parts of the world. So it's important to remember that everything is very different from that local community type of relationship we had for centuries. It has changed. Then you've got the structure. You've got paragraph numbering, of course, and the footnoting there. And just going through, we're getting just near to the appendices here. You see that's cross-border disputes. It's a heavy book, and as I've said, I think it's a very good book. We did review the previous edition, and we were impressed with that, and I'm even more impressed with this one. Now, this is what we say. Been written by David Hodson, OBE, now in a 4th edition, published by the Family Law imprint of Jordan's, as I've mentioned. It's come to be a highly regarded and invaluable resource for practitioners involved professionally in international family law. Now, writing in the foreword, Professor Nigel Lowe from Cardiff University refers to the explosion of public law cases with an international element, following on from the introduction of the single unified family court in 2014, and the fact that family law cases are now being dealt with by all levels of judges as a consequence. I've been in the new courts. I'm actually quite pleased with them. I can see changes. There are always going to be problems, but I think it's a good step forward. I touch wood. I hope that I'm right, but I think we've actually made some tremendous steps forward here with the new structure. Also very recent is the new European Regulation on Domestic Violence, which came into force in January 2015. These and other new developments have led to an inevitable increase in the work for the international family practitioner. So the publication of this new edition, the 4th, is it's obviously been a respected work now for some time because of the way it's been put together and what it gives us, and it's therefore all the more timely to have the new 4th edition in 2015, and the purchase is all the more necessary if that's where your practice is primarily based. Leading a team of 12 experts as contributors, the author David Hodson describes the book as, quote, a practical guide to help very able family lawyers accustomed to dealing with purely national cases to understand the international elements arising in a case. The international elements of international family law are, of course, the factors which compound its complexity. I know I've done some of these, and I did find it quite difficult. It's daunting. So you've got to know where to look. And again, I did have to try to find what I needed for a particular client. So thank you for producing this, even from my own point of view. So consider, for example, then the position in other, mainly civil jurisdictions, and the emergence of new European regulations as they're going to affect what you might be advising and dealing with when you're appearing, say, in the family division or whatever the name of the court will be. It's immensely reassuring, I think, for the hard-pressed practitioner to have this book, and the author's statement that as a practical guide the book is based on a presumption of limited knowledge of international elements is probably correct, because I found I was floundering a little bit until I suddenly the thing clicked and I realised what I was dealing with, because I just got completely out of the familiarity with part of it, so I did find it helpful. Therefore sets out to explain not only the content of the law, but the underlying purpose and intent, while at the same time communicating the main issues and potential pitfalls which are likely to occur, and that's what he does. It incorporates all the relevant source material, which I think is useful in one particular volume. That's a 52-part set of appendices, which are very detailed and basically half the book. And this new edition also provides much additional new material, namely, for instance, to cite just some, case law pertaining to EU maintenance regulation, initial decisions on the 1006 Hague Child Protection Convention and the 2007 Hague Maintenance Convention. I think that should be 2006, that's 1006. Also, there is a new chapter on EU involvement in family law, and in particular on care and placement proceedings involving international families. It's a work, as I say, of over 2,000 pages, and it's clearly written and easy to navigate, with a detailed table of contents, index and numbered paragraphs throughout, with copious use of boxed and bullet-pointed sections. There are at least 40 pages of cases, statutes, statutory instruments and international legislation, which will be of great help if you can fathom out where to find it and what relevance it might have to what you're doing. Let me conclude by saying that in an expanding area of law, well known for its complexity, this book provides a reliable and expert guide to virtually every conceivable issue in international family law, and is therefore the ideal work of reference for barristers and solicitors and the judiciary in this jurisdiction. So thank you very much to David Hodson and all the people involved, and the publication date we're citing is at May 2015, probably round about then, there and then. He's tried to be as up to date as possible. Quick look again. Interesting area, I just came straight to it, Muslim marriages. Very big issue, even as I'm recording this in the middle of 2015, in July. Big area that's causing us some very interesting commentaries at the moment. This is actually chapter 26, which is on distinctive aspects of Islamic law, and that is something that will be a big issue, I think, for many of us. Let's just go to the front again very quickly. Let me just share the appendices, because they do make up half the book. You can see the structure. A lot of it is actually very much the legislation itself, and then of course you get the other materials, which are the international materials that go with it, and then the body copyright at the beginning. I found the book quite easy to read, actually. I mean, once you get into the swing of it, paragraph numbering is nice, the structure's nice, very much the family style of Jordan's, and it wasn't that difficult to read either. But I think you've got to have obviously a bit of knowledge of what you're looking for. But I did find it helpful because actually some parts of it were new to me, and like it would be probably for many practitioners, so therefore it has helped build up my general knowledge and my more detailed knowledge of exactly where we are today with it. And obviously the conventions that I referred to earlier are of great help. So thank you to all concerned for an excellent publication. Bye bye.